100% honest with you guys, and I've already filmed this video. I filmed a tutorial with this, I filmed the review, I got shots for the thumbnail, and then my memory card thought that it would be super cute if it fucking deleted all that footage. So here we are, round 2. There will not be a tutorial for this look, unfortunately, in this review, but I will do one in the future to make up for it using the NORVINA palette. Okay? Whew. Trying not to be shook right now, but super pissed off at the same time. Okay guys, so just so you guys know, I will have a life update slash where I've been video coming soon, but not in this video. We are gonna jump right into the review of this palette. Hopefully this saves, you never know. Okay guys, so the NORVINA palette comes in the standard felt packaging that all their palettes are in. I personally really like it. I think it feels really cool. I think it's very signature to them. I don't know of any other brand that does kind of like a felt palette, but I'm sure there's some out there. I just don't know of them. Shocking to no one. I will say though, if you want to keep it clean, that is easier said than done, especially with felt packaging. Even using like bathroom cleaner, there is still like light staining, if that makes sense. But to me personally, all my makeup palettes look crazy because I'm a disaster. So they're all dirty, so that's not really like an issue for me. And to be perfectly honest, I love this color, like this lavender, matches my lips pretty much, periwinkle color that they chose. Absolutely gorgeous. Love the packaging. Think it's super cute. Okay, let's talk about the name of the palette, NORVINA. Now, if you don't know, NORVINA is Anastasia Beverly Hills' daughter, and her name is actually Claudia, but NORVINA is what she goes by on like social media, like Twitter and Instagram. And for me personally, in my own little fantasy, I hope it's something like Sasha Fierce for Beyonce. Do you know what I mean? It's like a name that you use that's kind of like your superhero name or whatever. Like, that's just in my, you know, magical fantasy. That is what I imagine NORVINA is to Claudia, but I think it's such a unique name. Like, I've never heard NORVINA before, but I'm also sheltered, so, but I think it's so beautiful. I think the packaging with this just like big NORVINA lettering, I just think it's so gorgeous. With the coloring, I think it works, honey, it works. Before we open her up, girl, I need you to know, I have used this palette for about a week now, so none of the shadows are like they're all tampered with. You know what I mean? They all look used because I've used them. So if you're expecting that satisfying reveal, joke's on you. So this is what the colors look like. Ooh, girl, are we gagging? Let's talk about them. So the top row are all metallic shades, and girl, they are so buttery. It is crazy. They're super soft. They apply really well with your finger and with a brush. Just make sure that it's a packing brush or something that's a little bit more dense rather than a fluffy brush like this. It's just not gonna pick up the pigment as well. But like, girl, to die for. Like, can we have a moment? What I really like about the metallics is that you have a really good variety of weird colors and normal colors. Now let me explain. I think like this light goldy peach, like Dreamer, Summer, which is like a pretty stereotypical gold, and Dazzling, which is a little more of a copper gold. I think those are all very standard metallics that you could find in other palettes. But what I do like is that they've paired it with Wild Child, Rose Gold, Celestial, and Drama, which are more colors that I personally haven't seen in a lot of palettes. And they're all very pigmented and they go on the eye very easily. I really love them. The only thing, like me personally, I would switch out Dreamer, Summer, and Dazzling for other colors just because I feel like I see them a lot in palettes, but I also see them a lot because people use them a lot. So it's kind of like a catch-22. You have to have shades in there that everyone's gonna like, and then shades that are gonna put your palette, like separate your palette from other ones that are on the market. So I think that that was a really good pairing of like everyday colors that people use all the time, and then new colors that they're introducing to the world. Does that make sense? That's my thoughts on it. Now going to the bottom row. This is a mix of like mattes and I think satins. Now the reason I say that is because Soul, Love, and Base all have like visible, very fine shimmer in it. And so I think it's more of a satin because on the eye it does look very matte, but there is a little bit of a sheen to it. But Incense, Incense, Volatile, Eccentric, and Passion all come on very matte. So I think it's just those three that are slightly different or have a little bit more shimmer or glisten or shine to them. However, I love all of these colors. The only one that I would replace is maybe Eccentric, just because the rest of it is very cool toned. This for me personally, on my skin, just isn't my favorite color, but that's like a personal me thing, not like a fuck up that they made thing. Now the internet has been going crazy over this Soul color. It is like a gray periwinkle lavender blue kind of color, and it is gorgeous on the eye. I'm wearing it today. However, I have blended it with a lot of different colors. What I really like about Soul is it stands on its own. It can be like the center color if you want it to be, that, you know, draws your eye, or you can use it as a transition shade to blend a lot of colors. So I think it's very versatile. I love pairing Soul and Love together. I think they look really good because Soul adds like the cool toned, smoky, mysterious part, and then Love warms it up, gives it a little bit of that pink, girly, softening vibe. Do you know what I mean? So I love pairing these two together. Base works really well for me for a base color, but if you were of darker complexion, it would work really well as like a highlight or just like a nice transition color. Incense and Volatile, again, really good, like neutrally transition colors. And then Passion, I do really like to darken the eye. Today with my eye look, I just used colors from this palette, but if this had been like a regular everyday thing, I would have added more black to my outer corner there. It's not a black in this palette, but I don't think that's a bad thing. Like, it's like, goddamn, we don't need a black in every single palette, girl. I'm kind of digging this. So for me, to be perfectly honest, this is a very cool tone palette and I love it. I'm so sick of warm tone palettes. They've never been my favorite ever, so I never really like got on that train or like was a huge fan of that. So the fact that brands are now coming out with a cooler toned color palette, it makes me very excited for the future. But yeah, the colors in here are all very gorgeous, and I've had this palette for 7 days. I've worn an eye look almost every single day, and I don't have any problems blending any of these or anything like that. Like, they go on very well and they blend very well. Now, I know what else some people will want to know is how much fallout does this have. So I'm just going to take one of the brushes that came with the palette and I'm just going to show you. So just like tapping in, you can see like it does get dusty. They are very soft shadows. The fallout of this palette personally doesn't bother me because I find that the shadows go on the eye very nicely, they blend very nicely, and so to me, every eyeshadow sort of has fallout. Like, sure, this palette I think does have slightly more than other palettes I have, but I also think that it blends better than other palettes I have. So it's kind of like, depends how much that really bothers you. I know some people really like this area to stay very clean in their eyeshadow palettes. I don't know why. I will never be that girl, honey, you know what I'm saying? That's just not me. I'm always gonna be a messy queen. So that doesn't bother me at all. And then I do know some people were like, oh, well, that's like blowing away your money. And I'm like, girl, when was the last time you used a palette so much that you even hit pan? Like, fuck. off. You know what I mean? Like, so many people bitch about stuff like that, but they have so many palettes that they haven't even hit pan on. It's like, really? Those 3 molecules of powder that you're blowing away. Like, yeah, that's a really loss of money. Bang for your buck. You know what I mean? I don't know. I just found that a very silly way to go about that because it's such a minuscule amount that it's like, really? That's what bothers you? Now let's talk about the price point. These are $43. I don't remember if that's Canadian or US. I will put it down here, whichever one it is. Do I think it is worth the money? Just talking about quality-wise, yes. I think the metallics are buttery, they're creamy, they go on the eye very well with a finger and a brush, so you don't have to compromise your favorite makeup techniques for these metallic shades. And the matte slash satins, I also think they blend really well. They go on very well. They're very pigmented, and I personally just think that this is a really, like, technically performance very well, like, good sound palette. It works very well. That was the weirdest way I could have said that. Completely based on quality, yes, I think it is worth the $43. I've purchased this once already. I would buy it again. Second, do I think it's worth the money based on the color choices? Yes, but that is a personal preference to me. I love cool tones and I love what they did with this. I'm not even a purple fan, and this palette made me a purple fan. Do you know what I mean? Like, when I look at this eyeshadow palette, it gives me inspiration. It makes me want to do like Tim Burton-y, smoky, you know, cool toned eyes, and it gets me excited. When I look at this palette, I'm like, ooh, what am I gonna do with it? What am I gonna do with it? You know what I mean? It gets me excited, and I have palettes that I've bought that I think have beautiful colors in it, but they don't necessarily like make me go, oh, I really want to do this eye look with it. But when I look at this, I'm constantly like, okay, this is what I want to try today, this is what I'm going to do tomorrow. So for me, personally, because I love the colors that they chose and I love how it performs, this palette is really a home run for me. I am so happy that I bought this. I'm so thrilled because I personally think that it's got colors in there that I just haven't seen before, and it's got a lot of cool tones in it, a lot of cool tone transitions, and I just feel like this is gonna be a staple piece in my makeup collection because it has a lot of colors that I'm drawn to. So for me personally, it was a home run. And just so everybody knows, I bought this with my own money, so I'm not here sucking his buddy's dick. Like, I just paid for by myself. I'm not on a PR list. No one knows who the fuck I am. Like, paid for this myself. Now, with every Anastasia Beverly Hills palette, you do get an Anastasia brush. It is a 2-ended brush. Now, I will say, this end, that's like the packing end, amazing. Super soft, works really well. It's a good shape, good size, beautiful, love it. This end, you garbage. You garbage and I hate you. It's like a fluffy brush, and I see what they're going for here. I get it. I just don't like the quality of these bristles. They kind of poke my eye a little bit, and like, I'll use it if there's nothing else around, but I don't reach for it. Okay, so unfortunately, I cannot show you the eye tutorial that I filmed for this because that fucking film decided to delete itself. But what I can do is give you a close-up of my eyes. Keep in mind, I have probably been wearing this look for about 3 hours now, so that's where we're at. But yeah, let me zoom you guys in. Yeah, those are my overall thoughts on this palette. Again, remember I did have it for a week. I have been using it for about a week. I didn't just want to kind of give you a like first impression. I just kind of wanted to come in and let you know my thoughts on it. I totally think it's worth it if you like the colors. If you don't like the colors, don't just buy it for like the quality of eyeshadow. It doesn't really make sense. But this palette, like when I saw it, I was like, give me life. So this palette did not speak to me, girl. It shouted and screamed my name. You know what I mean? So I was super excited about it. And if you guys have seen any photos of Claudia or Norvina, whichever she prefers to go by, it really looks like her style. Like the minute you see the photos, you're like, oh yeah, I see this color palette in her. Like, totally makes sense. So I think it's really cool that a palette named after her is so closely related to like her personal style. But yeah, that's it, that's all guys. Remember to follow me on my Instagram account. We have lots of fun over there, lots of bright colors, lots of inspirational pictures. Remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't already. Pixie hair tutorials, makeup tutorials, spooky stories. Girl, we got everything coming your way. And yeah, like this video if you found it interesting, informative. I'm so sorry that I lost the footage, guys. That super pisses me off, but like, hey, can't win them all. And yeah, I think that's it. That's all, guys. I will talk to you in my next video.